Hey, good morning, everybody. I noticed in the discussion that David posted a really good question, and I thought I'd take a minute and address it here and post it in your discussion. David said, if I can remember correctly, something to the effect of, hey, there's a lot of material and I may not be remembering it all really well. And I think that that's a good point. It's a really valid point. There's a lot of material that's posted, and so how do you sort through it? How do you make sure that you're focusing on the most important things? So what I want to direct your attention to is when you click on, say, right now we're on week 3. So you click on week 3, and that comes up with the assigned pages for reading, and usually there's a little video underneath it. And then the first thing that I talk about in the first section is called Overview and Lecture, I think. And the very first thing that's listed are our learning objectives / study guide. So here I'm going to hold it up. Here I have printed these out, and I suggest that you do the same thing. Print out our learning objectives for each chapter as we go along, or each section each week. So for chapter 1, it's about 1.5 pages of learning objectives. You can see I've marked on it, kind of annotated, made my own notes. And that's what I would suggest that you do. Look at the learning objectives, and whatever you're doing in the material, the practice material and whatnot, make sure that you're thinking about these learning objectives. The very first learning objective is define psychology. So that should be something that you would be able to do at the end of chapter 1. So you might want to make a note on the learning objective. Well, definition of psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. And just kind of make notes on this and make sure that despite the fact that our studies sometimes broaden as we go through these chapters, that you are focused on the learning objectives and making sure that as bottom line, you're getting these things as knowledge. So I would suggest pulling these out. That's why I call them a study guide as well as learning objectives, because I take this list of learning objectives and I use this list to guide me when I choose test questions. Okay. So another thing that's in that very first overview and lecture section is the PowerPoint. There are 2 different PowerPoints. The first one is from Discovering Psychology 5th edition, and that has audio connected to it. So if you download that and you're kind of an audio or auditory learner as well as a visual learner, you can look at the slides, hear me talking about them, maybe stop it occasionally to take notes on important points. And that could be a really great way to get some core information. Not everybody wants to listen to the lecture, and I appreciate that. Sometimes that's why we're online, because we don't want to listen to the lecture, but at least looking at the PowerPoints can help pinpoint some important aspects. And there are 2 sets of PowerPoints. The first one is with the audio. The second one is without the audio. The reason the second one is without the audio is that that is the 6th edition PowerPoints that we really just received in the past few weeks, and I haven't created the lecture notes to go along with that yet. So you have pretty much the same with the 5th edition, but the 6th edition PowerPoints are jazzed up a little bit more. They include some videos, so they're kind of fun and interesting in a different way. So that overview and lecture section is a very core piece of what we're doing, and I think that when it comes to the question of what should I focus on and how do I get my memory going here to remember the important things, that this is a really good section to start with each week, and then move on to the practice materials in order to continue to evolve your learning on each of the different topics. Okay, so good question, David. Thanks for that.